younger people do not have a lower attention span. Younger people are engaging with more content. They're not wasting their time on garbage like The Witcher because it's This story is going to require a little bit more involvement because, again, news media websites didn't do their research.
Water is wet.
Producer blames Americans. Anyway, I can fit that in. Has anybody watched the 3rd season of The Witcher?
Yes.
I don't have Netflix. I canceled it after a while.
Bioptic, what did you think of the 3rd season of The Witcher?
The first half of it was really good. And the last 3 episodes were probably the most boring 3 hours of my life. And I've watched the Star Wars sequels.
Damn, that's some shade.
I absolutely hated it. Nothing happened. You had an entire episode with Ciri walking through a desert where nothing happened. You've got 3 episodes of Geralt laying in a tree where nothing's happening. In the last season, where Henry Cavill is playing Geralt, and nothing happens. Nothing's explained. It doesn't even end on a cliffhanger. It just ends with Geralt cutting off a man's head and walking down a path.
And he's going to... And the next thing you know, when he walks off that path, he's going to be Liam Hemsworth.
Yep.
For reasons.
I mean, good job on Liam Hemsworth. Way to land a role. Proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Showrunner. Maybe don't be like the narrative is. Maybe address the reasons as to why the narrative is bad.
Maybe don't insult your entire audience. Like,
well,
maybe don't mock the people who are watching your show. It's like.
Do you remember the time when they were like, Henry Cavill is a misogynist because he plays video games? And then everyone was like, really, what did he say? When you get a objectively handsome man, such as Henry Cavill, who is an objectively, I think, a pretty damn good actor, who is like, let's stick true to the story. I'm willing to do the thing. I'm willing to stick to the book. You're going to create excellent... It's the reason why Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool works. They were like, Ryan, just put on this costume and crack jokes. We'll do the CGI and everything else, and that's why Deadpool works so well. It's also a good character and all that stuff, but the casting was perfect. Henry Cavill was like, yeah, oh, you mean I get to be the Witcher? Fantastic. Let's do this.
Dude literally wanted it as his dream role.
Yeah.
He was talking months beforehand about like how much he loved this franchise and how I'm pretty sure he got this role because he was so vocal about how much he enjoyed this series and how much it would be his dream. And Netflix were like, oh my God, we can actually get a credible actor on our network. Let's do this. Let's get Henry Cavill to be in our Witcher show. And he obviously said yes because
The Witcher,
it's The Witcher. And it immediately became one of the most popular things they ever made and has proceeded to hemorrhage viewers like faster than the Irish hemorrhage people during the potato famine. Like,
all I'm going to say is think about it this way, right? You have taken a community that is inbuilt to be a fan, that have played the game and been like, oh my God, Witcher, let's tune in. I'm such a fan. I've played the game. I know the story. I already know what's going to happen. Basically, I don't care. Show it to me again. Show me the thing again. And then you fucked it up. All you had to do was give them like, hey, look, Henry Cavill doesn't have a shirt on. Now Henry Cavill's drinking. Now Henry Cavill's telling a joke. Now Henry Cavill's swinging a sword. Hey, look, there's Ciri and Yen and Triss. Success. Money printed. Let's go.
But apparently they don't like money. We haven't actually explained what the producer said. So,
oh my God.
Let's.
Cal brings up a point in chat. It's really good.
Let's boil this down to its roots, and this is not clickbait. I'm not exaggerating this. He essentially said that they had to simplify the story because Americans would not understand it if they didn't. For Americans, it was completely
Oh, wow.
incomprehensible. It was too complicated because they grew up in a different historical context where everything was arranged. America is always good, the rest are the bad guys, and there are no complications.
Okay.
This is
So
from
as an American,
This is from Kotaku, by the way. Wait, this is from Kotaku, and when you're agreeing with Kotaku, you really fucked up. Like,
so as an American, generally, we try to, if you're somewhat culturally and historically educated, you lambast the idea of American exceptionalism because it is propaganda. The fact that like America was this shining city on a hill. No. Now, am I saying like America's all bad? Of course not. There's some good things. There's bad, and every country is like that. There's good. There's bad. There are moments we want to highlight and should replicate. Moments we should never repeat. We're all there, and we're all there. And the thing is that so, but in American education system, oftentimes it's a more jingoistic bent, especially since Ronald Reagan. There's been a whole bunch of things with this rise of stuff, and the fact that this producer, Tomasz Baginski, if I pronounce his name, I want to pronounce it correctly.
You did.
I don't know if it is.
You got it more accurate than the freaking journalist did.
Perfect. Anyways, the fact if he's a writer and a producer, he should understand literary context and historical context, because apparently this dumb American, as a standing in his totem, can explain to him what those concepts mean. And maybe I just don't have the unmitigated hubris to paint an entire group of people with one brush. Maybe I guess I just am too much of a paladin to do that.
The idea that an entire society could just be stupid is the most egotistical thing I've ever heard. Yes, there is a problem in America with education.
Absolutely.
But nobody actually wants to have a conversation about why, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but it essentially boils down to people don't have the money to get access to education.
Pause for a second. For those who are actually interested in that topic, and I'm not going to go into it anymore.
Also, systemic racism, but that's
this particular topic. Yeah. There is a documentary that was made by educators and people studying this problem called "Waiting for Superman," and it goes over the American education system. It's a very good documentary. I recommend it highly. It's called "Waiting for Superman." That's all I'm going to say on that. I just if you want to get it.
I would love to see that. Baginski continued saying simplifications of plot points are just as painful for writers as it is for viewers. But you just said the viewers wouldn't understand.
Yeah, I don't know about
otherwise nuanced and complex topics are often necessary. Still, oversimplification to otherwise nuanced and complex topics are often necessary so that a show can reach a larger audience. Do you know why this is bullshit? Because Game of Thrones exists. And for the 5 seasons in which that was the most popular show was when they had source material by the guy who wrote it. It was they only cut stuff where they had to. Like, they tried to keep as much of the politics in there as possible.
Yep. And House of Cards. House of Cards did gangbusters numbers.
Literally a show about politics. Like
The West Wing in the 90s did gangbuster numbers. Aaron Sorkin still is willing to go against, to be a strike breaker. And that show was
not about American exceptionalism. That show was about this is where the government fucks up, and people accepted that because their intelligence wasn't being insulted. And if you think this is bad, it gets worse. Do you know what else is responsible for The Witcher losing viewers? TikTok.
I mean,
young people, by the way, young people are responsible for because they're also stupid. When it comes to shows, the younger the public is, the logic of the plot is less significant to them. Those people grew up on TikTok and YouTube. They jump from video to video.
Or like how Netflix, you can jump from video to video. You like the thing where you can literally
binge watching,
or you can search a different topic, or I could go there. The amount of projection here, someone needs to get this guy an IMAX theater. Because
2 points. Obviously the Game of Thrones point earlier when we're talking about the source material. look at what happened to that show where they ran out of source
Yeah,
material.
it just went
fell
down
off
the
a fucking
toilet
cliff.
and people stopped watching. It's almost like people do actually want intelligent, smartly written shows that have direction and respect what they're adapting.
Game of Thrones season 8. Game of Thrones
doesn't exist.
And
Does
7,
not exist.
and potentially a bit of 6 too.
Sure.
Oh,
But
don't.
8
Season 8
came to a head.
Yeah,
8
that
came
was
to a
that
head,
was.
just this nasty pimple of mediocrity in a producer's room. And you know what?
Imagine.
Let's take this time to say,
Wait.
hey guys, pay your writers. WGA strike support.
And then with
No.
The Witcher. Sorry, while it's in my mind.
No.
Did you guys watch The Last of Us?
No.
I
But stuck to the source material.
But there's a bit where Joel, on the show, he's obviously at one point when they were filming the show, Pedro had to go and film Mandalorian, which is where they fit in the bit where Joel gets injured and he lays in the garage over the course of the winter. But do you know what they did differently compared to what The Witcher did when Geralt was injured and laying under a tree where nothing happened?
They had a different story.
They used that opportunity to develop some characters, develop Ellie, involve new characters, and get it like, oh, can't wait for Joel to come back and have to come and rescue Ellie from this. But in The Witcher, it's just, oh yeah, I'm in a tree. It's not really a lot going on.
We're about to lose one of the most beloved actors, of this decade. And it gets worse.
Oh, go ahead.
The interviewer chimed in and said that they were part of the age range of the viewers that Baczynski was talking about. Whereupon the producer replied saying, okay, so it's time to be serious. Dear children, what you do to yourselves makes you less resilient for longer content, for long and complicated chains of cause and effect. He is
you son of a bitch.
First, he was insulting adult Americans. Now he's insulting anybody under the age of 20. He's literally telling the person that by watching YouTube, by engaging with TikTok, they have become stupider. They have less of an attention span. By the way, this whole lesser attention span thing is complete bullshit. There is absolutely no scientific evidence to back up any of this. Human beings do not have a lower attention span. Younger people do not have a lower attention span. Younger people are engaging with more content. They're not wasting their time on garbage like The Witcher because it's shit.
So let's apply a little internet argument here. Let's apply Occam's razor, right? So that which assumes the least and answers the most is often the most correct. So our propositions are as follows. We have a hereto unproven psychological phenomenon where the rapid barrage of content is somehow decreasing our ability to focus on said content for longer durations. As opposed to what some might say, making a value judgment that this is a waste of my time and I'm going to go watch something else, potentially on a platform such as Netflix that allows you to do that, to rapidly switch, similar to YouTube and TikTok and other things like that, except instead of a swipe, it's a button press. Or somebody is making a show that is not resonating with its desired audience. Now, those are the two scenarios that we find ourselves in. Either, again, a hereto unforeseen and unknown psychological phenomenon is manifesting, and we have to thank this producer for pointing it out with all of his psychological credentials, or he's not making something that's good. Now, what assumes the least and answers the most? Mr. Baczynski, I recommend that you teach English at a community college because you are a failed writer. So I can't. I have a lot of problem when people are just like blaming things on people that are. It's just not like, friend. The call's coming from inside the house. It's you.
They missed an absolute trick with the very last episode of season 3 of The Witcher. Because did you finish it or did you?
I haven't bothered since. The ending of season 2 was so bad that I just.
Oh,
and here's the
okay.
thing: I actually loved the start of the first episode of season 2 was everything good about The Witcher. It was a self-contained story where the essential like conflict turned out to be more complex than it initially seemed, and that what initially looked good was actually bad. And that is very much what The Witcher is about. It's about a bunch of people existing in a crappy world that functions without them and doesn't care about them and trying to find their place inside that. It's not about Yennefer changing her mind every 5 seconds about what she wants to do with her life. Like, oh, I'm going to murder you, but we just had a fight, so now I'm not going to murder you. So now we're a family. No, you're not. You're a crazed psychopath. Why would anyone want to be anywhere near you? Yennefer in the books was not a crazed psychopath.
No. But
Neither
do you know what they
games,
should have done in season 3? Is obviously, can I spoil it?
Yeah,
I guess
you
I
can
can.
spoil it,
Let
but-
me bring up the spoiler. Never-ending spoiler alert.
Oh yeah,
There
this
you
is
go.
a spoiler for those of you that
Want to
haven't
watch that
watched
last
it and
episode?
want to watch it. Geralt gets his ass handed to him by, I think it's Vilgefortz, and what they should have done is they should have had Geralt's face smashed to the place of no repair, so when he recovers, he was Liam Hemsworth, and then he walks off. I would have been okay with that.
Here's the thing. I don't even think they
No.
need to.
They're not going
Actors
to.
change. It
No, they
happens. Whatever. Fine. Whatever. But just don't be crap. Like,
You know it will be.
hey there, folks. I know nobody wants to listen to a creator shill themselves for 90 seconds, so I'm not going to. If you enjoyed this, we do the show live every Sunday on Twitch at 6 p.m. BST. Feel free to pop over TNEQL. And if you would like to support us in making the channel bigger and helping it grow, you can also check us out on Patreon, also at TNEQL. Take care of yourselves. Stay beautiful.